Before we start off with today's video, I kinda want to ask you guys a question. The other day I made a poll asking how many of you would be interested in joining a competition, and the winner would pretty much choose which 7-star I take to rank 2. These are all my 7 stars, and unfortunately it was supposed to be who I take to rank 3, but the July 4th deals kinda just suck for Paragon, to be honest. The winner will decide which one of these to take to rank 2, and whoever comes second will decide my next rank 5, and whoever comes third will decide what video I make next. But for some reason this order doesn't really make sense, and so what I'm asking is if this order makes sense, if this one should be here, if that one should be first, or something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're back again with another Why You Should Play video, and today's video goes to Batman 2, one of the newer champions in the game, who's a little bit confusing to play, but once you know how to play him, he's freaking awesome, man. When it comes to how good he is, I would argue he's the third best tech champion in the game, the first being Future Ant-Man, the second being Red Skull or Nimrod, and then him being third. I will try to explain why I think so later on in the video, but for now, let's actually go over all of his abilities first, and then later on discuss why you should play him.
Look, he's so happy to see you. Look, your brother's so happy to see you. Aww.
Prowler is immune to Bleed, Incinerate, as well as Falter, and he gains additional block proficiency during the opponent's special attacks. He also has 115% ability accuracy, which makes him good against Domino, and he doesn't actually benefit from the Collar Tech Mastery. Instead, he gains additional critical damage rating for each rank invested. As for his medium attacks, they are non-contact hits which actually can be evaded. Whenever he would land a critical hit, he instead inflicts a Rupture passive, dealing the critical damage the hit would have done as physical damage over 1 second. His second medium attack inflicts a Falter passive for 3 seconds, which is paused during his special attacks and cannot be inflicted on the opponent if they're already faltered. If a miss is caused while this falter is active, it goes on cooldown for 10 seconds. Whenever Prowler's special attack would be punished, he inflicts a falter passive for 1 second, and while the opponent is faltered, they're actually more aggressive. As for his power creep, which the max of these that he can have is 30, after the opponent activates a special attack, their remaining power will be power drained and will be inflicted with a power lock passive lasting for 1.5 seconds after the final hit of their attack. For every 1.1% of the opponent's max power that is drained or burned, he gains 1 power creep charge, and on Prowler's special activation, each of these charges will be converted into a Fury passive, granting a certain amount of attack rating for 10 seconds, which are paused during special attacks, and the max stacks of these Furies is 30. As for his heavy attacks, landing one against an opponent with 0 power will cause the final 4 hits to inflict a non-stacking Incinerate debuff, dealing a certain amount of energy damage over 20 seconds, and while this Incinerate is active, it reduces block proficiency by 50% and removes perfect block chance. If a personal rupture expires on an incinerated opponent, it explodes, dealing a burst of physical damage. But moving over to his special attacks, the Special 1. On activation, he gains a Pursuit passive for 30 seconds, and while this passive is active, his attacks cannot be evaded. The final hit inflicts a taunt debuff for 4 seconds, which reduces attack rating by 40% and increases the chance of opponents activating their special attack by 70%. This special attack also doesn't grant the opponent power, but let's actually move over to the Special 2. The first hit refreshes and pauses all personal ruptures until the final hit of the special attack, and each hit inflicts a Rupture passive, dealing a certain amount of physical damage over 1 second. And last but not least, the Special 3. He will actually enter overcharge until the end of his next special attack, and while he's in this overcharge state, He gains plus 50% combat power rate, but cannot activate specials 2 or 3. While he's overcharged, his power creep charges will also not be removed on conversion, and whenever he gains new fury passives, they don't actually count towards the cap. The special attack also grants the opponent a 100% power efficiency passive for 30 seconds, which actually reduces the cost of their special attacks. But moving on to his awakened ability, while the opponent is faltered, he'll actually gain a certain amount of critical rating, and while he has at least 30 fury effects, his special attacks will be passively unblockable. And that is pretty much it for all of his abilities. Definitely not a comic book to read when compared to Onslaught, but it's still long when you compare it to champions like Drax. But on to this man's attire, and oh my goodness, they were definitely cooking, man. They were definitely cooking. Bro, look at the drip, I'm telling you, man. And the cape is going sideways. I don't even know who he's trying to be. The design of the claws look absolutely amazing, and the ominous mask, which kind of reminds me of a certain someone. He's kind of like a mix of Black Panther and Batman, which in terms of looks, this is the real Batman, but when it comes to movesets and gadgets and stuff, it's definitely my boy over here. The only thing I don't really like about the design is the chest area. The chest is sort of shaped like a Ninja Turtle or something. Hopefully you guys see what I'm talking about. But even when we consider that, the design is absolutely amazing, man. Definitely one of the best designs in the game, and I think I'll actually give this a 9 out of 10. Minus 1 point because his chest looks like a Ninja Turtle, and also for his very goofy looking animation. But anyways, on to the topic of why you should play him. But before that, a quick shout out to Bitter Steel, man. His video really helped me kind of understand how he should be played, and also kinda how his kit all comes together, and so I kinda wanna give him my thanks for that. Now, as stated earlier, I think that Prowler is in the top 3 best tech champs in the game. He seems complicated to play at first, but once you get his rotations right, you'll actually find that he's a very good champion. You pretty much want to start off every fight doing a heavy attack, then trying to build up to the SP2, while draining the opponent's power and trying to get the maximum amount of power creep charges that you can get. And then while you have 30 of these charges, you then inflict your falter, launch the special 2, and see the opponent melt. His damage is very good, especially when you compare him to some of the 7 stars that we have. Definitely not juggernaut level of damage, but enough damage to actually get you some wins in battlegrounds. But other than damage, he's more so a utility champion, having triple immunity as well as having the ability to power drain the opponent. His power drain mechanic is very good against champions like Hyperion, Sasquatch, and even Mcoc, being able to power drain and power lock them 100% after locking a special attack. He's a champion that can pretty much take any fight in the game due to his immense amount of utility, but the one thing that makes him stand out when it comes to other champions is the fact that he's one of the best champions that you can bring to a fight when there's a lot of power gain. Being able to completely drain the opponent's power is a massive thing, and I think not a lot of people see his value yet, but time will tell on how meta this champion will be. But anyways, that is it for Prowler. Great damage, great utility, peak gameplay animations in my opinion, with a super fun playstyle. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think on Prowler. Make sure to join my Discord group, the link will be down in the description. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!